Episode 44 was with John-Robert.
We did this one a little differently. We are practicing social distancing, so we did this over Zoom. When I say we, it was my brother, Sean Ulbs of the Eiffels, and myself.
Make sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook, Bringing It Backwards, and Instagram and Twitter at bringinbackpod.
Please share and use the hashtag Together at Home.
We're Bringing It Backwards with John-Robert.
Check 1, 2, check. If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friend.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Great.
We were trying to be cool and use AirPods, and they didn't quite work.
I understand.
Do you go by John-Robert, or do you just
Yes,
go by?
ma'am. John-Robert.
That's really cool.
So we gave your stuff a listen, and it was really beautiful stuff. Just, incredible voice. Loved the soul. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about how your passion for music started?
Passion for music started at a very early age. There was always music like in the car around the house. I guess it really absolutely took a hold of me when I was 15, and I got a hold of my first laptop and GarageBand. So my cousin introduced me to GarageBand and showed me some little tricks and the basics. And then ever since there, I just felt like making music and writing music has been a lot easier. And I feel like production and songwriting goes hand in hand. You're choosing sounds and samples for your style. But I do like using the acoustic guitar as a basis for a song, just to kind of test if the song has legs. So that's more or less my process and where I kind of started falling in love deeply with music.
So entering that stuff in GarageBand really helped you piece together the songs and
GarageBand's like the gateway drug to Logic. It's like the starter. It's the starter kit. And then before that, it was always talent shows and choir and church. And that was more so where music was prevalent and really made an impact. But
it's interesting that that really gave you some more enthusiasm for the writing process, considering how stripped down I would say your songs sound. They have a really organic feel to them. So it's interesting that a production tool was actually what kind of really brought the enthusiasm out.
Well, it really helped me to map out like my song structure and to be able to see it on the screen written out for me. Just visually being able to see it all laid out really helped me with song structure and forming, just the different parts and components of the tunes from adding bass and other instruments. But it is definitely acoustic driven.
Sure.
I was super excited to see that you were discovered by Ricky Reed. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was a whole process. So I met Ricky Reed through a friend of his, and then I was living in LA for like 2 months right after I graduated high school. So I graduated high school as a junior back in 2017.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to go to Berkeley, College of Music in Boston. So I got a scholarship for that, but then I decided to defer and see what it was like to work in the field with some of the players in LA. And so I experimented with that a little bit. And then through that, I met Ricky. And then I ended up getting sent home. I didn't get sent home. I ended up having to go back home. And so I was in my parents' basement during what would have been like my senior year of high school. Got really emo, really depressed. And then I was like, this music thing has to work. And also making music gave me a sense of purpose. So it felt good. It just kind of gave me meaning for a bit. And that was a little tough. And I just kept spamming Ricky with emails and demos. Sorry, demos, emails, emo. With a bunch of shitty demos. And for whatever reason, he saw potential in that. And he also reached out to me and was like, hey, now looking back, that's absurd. Like, why would you ask if I have any music? Ricky Bradley and his team always kind of hung around a little bit, or just kind of they were watching my development. And then finally my production and songwriting got to a point where they started to really kind of take me on as an artist.
Sure.
But so I appreciate Nice Life to the Moon and Back and Ricky to the Moon and Back.
So some of those initial demos that you were spamming him with, had you graduated to Logic and some other tools at that point, or was that still kind of that earlier GarageBand stuff?
No, at that point I was experimenting with Logic.
Nice. So logic is kind of the tool of choice nowadays.
Yes, sir.
And so that's amazing that you graduated high school in your junior years. So was your plan to just like get it done and head to LA and pursue your dream?
It wasn't to head to LA. I was always going to graduate a year early. I just hated high school.
Same.
I would just fall asleep during classes. More so what I did outside of high school, I was proud of, you know?
Yes.
So I really wasn't a part of any of the extracurricular activities. I didn't see value in high school. Everything
Totally.
mattered so much. And also, especially in a small town high school, it's very toxic and you're kind of, there's no room to evolve. And so when I started hanging out around colleges, when I was like 16, 17, I could reinvent myself and be whoever I wanted to be. So that was really inspiring to see. And also seeing these dingy house shows in Harrisonburg. These kids are just weirdos. They're incredibly inventive, incredibly original, and incredibly themselves. So that was very inspirational to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, I too graduated a year early because I hated high school. I feel you. So that's really awesome.
Dude, it's dreadful.
Yeah, it is stressful. But we, Sean and I, and Adam's at home with our child. So yeah, we came from a high school that had like 3,500 kids. And it was way too big, and I don't know, it was just not fun. But you said you were in choir. Was that just in church, or did you take that in middle school?
There's a love-hate relationship with choir. So what I absolutely love about choir is it really helps me with backup vocals. You're one person in a sea of multiple people, which I hope it's a good choir.
Right.
So you can never be accountable for, your classmates or anything like that. And so like, I'm very, I don't know, it's just working in a group aside from getting things done by yourself. But what I love about choir was you always had to match your vowel shapes, your vowel shapes with everybody else. And so that really helped me with backup vocals, making sure that they were clean. Also knowing that your consonants are at the same time. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So if you start a word with an S, making sure you start on the one or on the and or whenever, so you don't get a sea of all around. So definitely being more precise with backup vocals. That's what choir helped me with. And then on the opposite side, it's very extremely traditional and classical. So there's one way to do things, and there's really not much growth in choir, at least how it was taught to me in high school. But that's kind of the art of it.
Right. So, it wasn't exactly your bag, but it gave you some tools and things to work with later for what you're doing now.
Yes, sir. It really helped me with harmony because I was a male alto for the longest time because I have like a higher voice.
Well, yeah.
The altos never get the melody, so we always have to do harmony, and so that really helped develop that ear. So that's why I'm always grateful for being a choir boy.
Right. So you were spamming your demos, and then actually getting some feedback and callbacks, and then you kind of got a support team now that's developing you. And so we read that you have you're just putting the finishing touches on your debut record. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that's been putting that together?
I've never put together an EP before, so I was definitely lucky to have the crew at Nice Life as a soundboard, and they're very good at picking out songs that more so sound like me, and also they'll call me out if they're like, hey, you're kind of ripping off this person, or you're kind of stealing this vibe, or because at the time I was really angsty and singing about I loved The Weeknd for a second, and I was singing about a bunch of drugs I never did, you know what I mean? So they're like, you know what, John-Robert, that's not really you, and I'm always like, yeah, I know.
Sure.
But so yeah, it was really great having them as a soundboard. Ricky is very creative, incredibly inventive. I'm always scared that I'm gonna lose my love for music just because I'll dig too deep into it, and the kind of magic and I don't know, the newness of it all is going to be gone. But then I watch Ricky work, and I no longer have those concerns. The guy just never stops learning. He's always buying these new, incredibly obscure tools and gizmos and gadgets. And he's also always learning how to use new synths, everything from a granular synth to like an MPC. He's just very inspiring to work with. And Ricky's very good at embellishing what I do. And without taking. He's good at upgrading things without it losing its key charm and key components. That's extremely difficult to find in producers.
Sure, enhancing what's there instead of changing it.
Exactly.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, so you're talking about synths and all these different fun little tools that have been exciting for you to see come alive on the tracks. The 2 tracks that you have out right now are these beautiful, folky, soulful songs. Do any of the new tracks kind of mix it up a little bit more? It sounds like it from some of the ingredients you're talking about there.
Yeah, I'm really excited for people to listen to the rest of the EP. It's a fair bit of like genre bending, and I don't like to. I never really called myself like a folk artist, and then that label got assigned to me, so I'm definitely not mad at it. My favorite lyrics come from folk artists, no doubt. Adriana Lenker. I feel like Phoebe Bridgers is maybe fair. Bob Dylan, top like king of lyricism. So yeah, you can expect definitely some twists and turns throughout the EP, but it is very consistent and it's pretty acoustic based, and all the songs have legs. So yeah, I'm really proud of the EP and really excited to perform it out in public.
Yeah, we're excited for you. I mean, you are amassing a following already, as we've seen on YouTube and on Spotify. So very excited to hear those new tracks. Any idea when you're gonna be able to release that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but definitely before the summer.
Okay. So late spring maybe at the latest then.
That sounds good.
I'm excited. And I read that you got your first guitar when you were 12. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your first instrument? Did you play anything prior to that?
I played a little bit of piano when I was extremely little, but nobody I idolized played piano. Now I respect it as a sophisticated and beautiful instrument and versatile instrument. But, you know, when you're like 12, 13, you want to be a rock star, you know? So yeah, I picked up the guitar when I was 12.
My older son is almost 12. He'll be 12 next week. So I got to get him a good guitar. He has like a play guitar, but I got to get him on that.
Yeah, it's gonna feel ridiculously awkward at first. Like you just have to contort your body around that instrument, and so yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your plans that you had to go to Berkeley. So you were all set to go to Berkeley from graduating high school early. What had you shift gears?
Yeah, I applied early admissions to Berkeley, and then I found out I got it like January of 2017, and then I met this guy who I can't drop his name, but I met this guy in LA, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I like live in LA for a little bit before dropping all this money for school? Yeah, that was about it. It wasn't too hard a decision. My reasoning was, you know, people leave school hoping to get opportunities like this, so I might as well just kind of see this through before committing to dropping so much money. And with the money I save, I can set myself up with plugins and other instruments and lessons. Yeah, I just felt like it was a little overpriced.
Sure.
It still was a really big dream of mine to go to Berkeley, and they produce incredibly talented artists.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm sure what you're doing now, maybe something you can put on your intro letter once you get back over there eventually.
I'm hoping for an honorary degree.
Yeah,
there you go.
Totally. You could teach there when you're retired.
That's the back doorway.
That would be amazing. So you started playing piano as a kid. You moved on to getting that guitar when you were 12, and then you mentioned church. Did you play at all in church?
No, not really. It was mainly the church had every Thanksgiving. My church had was it Thanksgiving or for Christmas? I can't remember. Yeah, my church had a talent show, and that was really like my time that year to like shine and try out, singing. So it was more so for that, less about the choir. Church choir is not as refined. You do it for the love of the game, you know. Church choir is not refined, and it's not meant to be. But yeah, I sung a little in church. But it was more so like outside of establishments that I really found a love for music.
Yeah, I read you played like in county fairs. How'd you get connected with those?
Oh my God. I was raised in Virginia, and there's not a lot of places to perform, and especially when you're like 12. So there's like the Shenandoah County Fair, Rockingham County Fair, Shenandoah Jamboree, these bluegrass country type venues. They were very character building. I remember one time there was a pavilion tent, and they gave me a microphone and an amp, and I couldn't play guitar at the time, and I didn't have backing tracks, so I would literally just sing a cappella to people. I don't know who let me do this, but then we had to close everything down. The whole tent got closed down because of the tractor pull nearby, and the smoke was just littering the space. And the tractor pull is way too loud because they take off their mufflers. They want to see who can pull the heaviest stuff the farthest. That was like Rockingham County Fair, and then also little pavilions and tents at Shenco, Shenandoah.
That's cool. So did you email those folks too? Like, were you sending demos to those people to register sing?
No, my father really believed in me, so he would just be like, "Hey, let my son sing. My son can sing." And then I would get extremely nervous before singing, and then my father would always take me out to. I just didn't have a lot of friends in general for elementary school and early middle school. So my father would just take me out to open mics on Wednesdays at like Christina's Cafe, or what was another? He would just always find like weird open mics, and he'd take me to them, and then he'd buy me like ice cream or something afterwards.
Wow.
So that's kind of now thinking back, we did that a lot. My father and my parents really supported and believed in me, and my parents' motto is choose whatever you want to do in life. We support you 100%, but you need to be good at it, and you need to really apply yourself to it. If you want to flip burgers, you better be the best fry cook in the county or in the state.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was always their mentality.
I think Lincoln said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." So sounds like a similar philosophy.
Yes, sir. I like that. Who was it? Lincoln?
Yeah, that was Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, now fast forward to current day. Are you based in Los Angeles now while you are putting the finishing touches on your album?
Yeah, so long as my lease holds up. Yeah. I'm over in the Boyle Heights area.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a cool little neighborhood. What are some of the big differences you notice from your hometown in Los Angeles, Boyle Heights? Man,
people need to watch themselves. I'm tired of sirens keeping me up at night. There's always a siren somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's that. What else? People walking down the street, they're very much in their own head and their own space. Kind of approaching people is not really the move here, because it was more so the thing in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So Southern hospitality is definitely a thing. But also there's too many people in LA to give everyone that special attention and time and to build that connection with. Small town, there's nothing to do but rumor and gossip. So those are some of the key differences. Yeah, but LA, there's much more to do, and there's more like subcultures and cliques and things like that. Like listening to people talk about their high school experience is completely different. Like my high school didn't have an auditorium. We used the old gym. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just so many different cliques and so many specific tastes out here.
Something.
That's about. Yeah, absolutely. That's about it. People are more open-minded. Virginia's a little bit more traditionalistic.
Sure.
But,
That's awesome. Yeah, so it sounds like you have great support at home. Do you have any siblings or?
Yes, ma'am. I have 3 little siblings. We're all 2 years apart. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are they also interested in music?
My little sister, she has a little hint to music. Actually, my little brother Owen's playing drums right now. So, yeah, they're pretty musical. They don't hate music.
There you go.
Oh, and you're a great role model, a big brother. That's so cool.
I hope so. Just depends what pictures come out. But I've been very good.
Yeah, so you started playing guitar when you were 12, and now you're 19, and you're signed to Warner and doing amazing things. Like, that's so exciting. What do you attribute your success to getting to that point?
I definitely got extremely lucky, and I was constantly being thrown in over my head and then kind of having to figure shit out. I definitely attribute it to, like, my parents really, really supported me, and they really pushed me. And I also attribute it to my good friend Robbie. who is a best friend who's very candid with me and what he likes and what he doesn't like in my music. So no yes men in my friend group or family. They're all very opinionated. They're their own characters. And those are the people I really like keeping around me. And they'll also deflate my head if it's getting too big. And then obviously Nice Life for scouting me and really believing and seeing the vision even when my production chops weren't up to snub, you know. And then also, you know, opportunities that failed like along the way, like bandmates flaking and producers flaking. Really, like I had to kind of pick up the slack, and so it made me independent, made me more well-rounded, and it really helped me out with starting to define my sound and helped me discover my absolute love and passion for producing and making weird sounds and songs. So
So coming from a place where you were, you know, making your own demos and tinkering around on your own, and then getting in with a great producer and getting a great team behind you, and including the label support. There's probably some indie artists out there who would love to know what are some of the things that you've seen your team do for you that you feel like you may not have been able to do yourself or have even thought of?
They deal with all the bullshit. I love my team. I just get to make music and talk to people who want to talk to me. And that's really stellar. They deal with a lot of stupid back end shit. And also, it's not so much not wanting to do something, but not even know you need to do it.
Right.
So I was very bad at understanding social media and how to work it. So I just neglected it altogether for the longest time. But now I have people to explain to me some of the
social media etiquette.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, social media etiquette. I was completely stupid at social media and probably offending a lot of people just by being ignorant. So there's definitely that. Financial backing. That's a big thing. Like, I did something like things coming out. I spent money on some dumb shit. So it's more so financial backing to realize all the stupid ideas I had in Virginia. That's been incredible. Also being able to afford clothes that are nice and teaching me about clothes that are fitted. Just because I always wore, when they found me, I thought cargo pants were the shit. And also I wore oversized hoodies. And all black Converse, black toe. It's a big fashion no. So yeah, definitely getting a little bit more educated on that. I love and respect Warner and my team. And also they're looking for other places for my music to go that I just wouldn't even think about. So like a syncing team.
Right. Yeah. I think hearing that, I think some independent artists, I think that kind of information is valuable to them.
Oh yeah, it's not that they're stomping on your neck. It's that you now have financial backing to do all the dumb shit you want to do.
Right. I mean, I think that's what a good team should do. You know, just take care of the other stuff so you can make the music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they don't impose on any creative freedom or anything like that. They do guide me sometimes because I don't know, I'm angsty, but they do kind of show me the way as far as etiquette or how to talk to people. But no, aside from that, still a lot of liberty, still a lot of freedom. Nice Life is a great soundboard, and they help me realize everything I want. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Is there anything that you want to share about your experiences that we haven't already talked about to the world?
Fuck Kids Bop. What a scam. Seriously, like, I don't know, signing over Kids Light, it's just, what a fucking joke. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit in the music industry. So finding Nice Life, and everyone in Nice Life's vicinity and ecosystem are all genuinely talented and nice people. So a lot of the time when you're kind of scrounging around looking for people to collaborate with, it feels like a trade-off sometimes. But Nice Life, you know, that's never the case. And then also, I grew up in an era that was looking for like the next Justin Bieber. And so I felt very lost when I was first trying to find my voice in music. And I was just kind of like saying yes to things for the clout, or I don't know. Also just kind of growing up through YouTube, you question your self-worth a lot. And so kind of learning those lessons were really tough. And I felt felt like I had to figure it out a bit sooner, because you're putting yourself out on display, and when you give yourself to the world, anyone can do anything with your music, your face, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or if they have your email or find your number, it's a whole debacle. It's a whole situation. So that side of things, like all the build up to releasing an EP and everything, really flies under the radar sometimes. Honestly, I have nothing to bitch about. You know, they all attribute it to who I am now and the music I make, and really glad that I got to see that side of things before meeting Nice Life and the Warner team, so I don't take them for granted.
Yeah, it sounds like things are going great. So we did have a last question for you. Do you have a piece of advice that you can give other aspiring artists? It's
less about what you want the end product to be, more so that you enjoyed the process. Also, with songwriting, take breaks. If you work on something for 6 hours straight, it's going to be worse than if you worked on it like an hour, took a break for an hour, and came back to it for an hour. 10 times out of 10, because you'll start to hear problems that aren't there, and music is subjective, and your end product is never going to be perfect. Nate Mercer, who works at Nice Life, he quoted somebody, so this is very much he said, what did he say? It was you never finish a project, you abandon it, which is really funny.
Right.
So as far as advice, and also just be honest, make things you want to hear. Don't make things you think other people are going to hear. Or other people are going to want to hear. Yeah, just be honest in your songwriting, even if it's a bit scary. And when you're songwriting and you feel like you're a bad person for saying the things that you're saying, know that that song is just a part of you and it doesn't completely encapsulate you as a person. That gave me a lot of creative freedom.